How's it going, guys? Cookie here. There have been plenty of rumors since the most recent patch that there were a bunch of secret buffs and nerfs that were not put in the patch notes themselves. That conspiracy theory has been proven true. We will discuss that, as well as a new hotfix straight off the presses, and probably the biggest hotfix patch I've seen for Helldivers 2 ever. We start though with news of a Q&A that is upcoming for all Helldivers, with Twinbeard, one of the community managers, posting about it. It says, "We want your questions for the Helldivers army." Hello everyone. As some of you might know, we're planning on doing more audio-visual content such as vlogs, various streams, interviews, etc. going forward. We're currently in test phase mode for some of this and would love some assistance. Therefore, please write whatever questions you might have for Helldivers 2 in the snazzy form shared here. Questions can be for Arrowhead in general as well, but preferably diver-related stuff. I can't guarantee this will be replied to in public, but I hope so. He also edited this and said, "Questions only, please." I know the text in the form initially said suggestions as well, but that was my bad. Only questions this time, thanks. I'll stop pulling stuff from this forum this Thursday, September 26th at 4 p.m. CET, 7 a.m. Pacific, and 10 a.m. ETZ. Note, there is no personal information saved or stored from this forum. We don't care who you are, we just want your questions. Thanks for your help, divers. This was also posted about on the Helldivers Reddit, and it's basically the same message, except he says, "Note, to avoid bias and to employ managed democracy, we use contest mode. This means your upvotes will be visible to us, but not the general public. Feel free and upvote the questions you like." So basically you have the option to either send it in a Google form or you can just respond to that thread on Reddit. Either way, your questions will be considered. So a couple things to point out here. It doesn't say directly that this Q&A is with the devs specifically, but that would be heavily assumed. So this is a perfect chance to talk directly with them if there is a burning question that you have. And like I said, you can either send the question on the Reddit thread or use the link from Discord to submit it through a Google form. Twinbeard also says that the questions that will be answered on Reddit will be based on upvotes, so if you like a particular question, make sure to upvote it too. He also says that at 10 a.m. EST, he'll stop pulling from the thread and the Google form on this coming Thursday. He doesn't confirm when he'll start posting answers to the questions, but it will obviously be sometime after that. Both the Google form and the Reddit thread will be linked in the description down below. Okay, so there was also a hotfix patch. This is the first major hotfix since the big patch last Tuesday, and it fixes a variety of issues. There are 27 fixes overall in this hotfix, so quite a lot. I won't read through all of them, but you can pause the video and check out the graphic to see exactly what was fixed and see if there's something that relates to you directly in there. There was a lot of crash fixes and general quality of life changes as well. And now we get to the secret patch notes. Twinbeard posted a bunch of corrections from last week's update on September 17th on the Discord and talks about all the stuff that should have been included in the last patch notes and just wasn't for various reasons. It says, "Hey divers, regarding the frequently asked question about intended changes or stealth nerfs in the latest patch, my esteemed colleague Omnivol and I dug around a little and managed to find some more info on this. Note that some of the text below are from our developers. As you know, there are a lot of changes in this patch. That means that the risk of some hits and misses will inevitably increase. Some of these are things we failed to mention in the patch notes, some are intentional, some are poorly explained, and one or two things were changed unintentionally. Also remember that all things in the game are subject to change and never set in stone. As always, holler back with your thoughts on these. All feedback is greatly appreciated." First of all, it says that the HMG angle and durable damage nerf 50 to 35. This one was intentional, but wasn't in the patch notes. The railgun says that the AP armor penetration bonus was removed from overcharging. It no longer climbs the AP 7 at 90% charge. This was intentional, and if so, we forgot to add it to the patch notes. The reasoning behind this was to not make the railgun too good versus tanks and factory striders. However, armor on tank fronts getting changed didn't jam with that change. We still didn't want the railgun to bounce off front armor, so maybe we need to take a look at this. The anti-tank mines, which we've actually talked about this one before. The damage was reduced from 1,000 to 800, but the explosion radius was increased, the stagger force was increased from 30 to 50, and the demolition force was increased from 30 to 40. This was intended, but just missing in the patch notes. Now, for the laser cannon, it says that it does not cool down faster despite what is stated in the patch notes. This was something we were doing at first, but later removed and simply missed addressing in the patch notes. So basically what they said in the patch notes just isn't a thing with the laser cannon at this point. The Guard Dog Rover actually sets targets on fire faster. This was intended, so the Guard Dog Rover actually gets a little bit of a buff in this patch as well. Fire dot damage. It says the durable damage was increased from 25 to 50. Yep, you guessed it, intentional as well. We will look at this to see if this should be kept as is or not. It did not make the Incendiary Breaker and Cookout better as well, which as we know are two appreciated weapons. So that's a pretty big deal. The Hell Pod Impact damage was increased rise from 200 to 2500, so a little more than 12 times as much damage, but it does not affect the Firebomb Hellpod's booster. This is intentional and a part of the damage scaling that we mentioned in the patch notes. We didn't convey this very clearly, but because we increased heavy enemies' health, we needed to increase the Hellpod damage so it would still be able to kill them. And then lastly says for the Fire Hellpod, we missed increasing the damage of that one. Alright, so now I'm going to bring Swanee in on this video. We're going to discuss these secret patch notes that were not revealed in last week's update. So a couple of these we kind of saw coming, Swanee, like the anti-tank mines and stuff, but which of these really stood out to you and kind of surprised you?
Well, after testing out the update, honestly, the only one out of this list that surprised me is probably the Hellpod impact damage. That secretly got that increase, but I've still been landing on top of Bile Titans and stuff, and it just doesn't kill them, but that might just be because of the, like, how bad the hit detection is with landing your Hellpods. Other than that, I've not really noticed too many of these. I did notice the HMG angle. It felt like it was slower because I was using it last night. I didn't really notice that decrease to the durable damage. The HMG turret is still extremely powerful. I was just melting through automatons last night, like Hulks and tanks and stuff. It's still really, really good. So I didn't really notice that nerf too much. And then I did notice the anti-tank mines. I did mention that in my latest video, but everything else I've not really noticed too much. So I'm assuming that like a lot of the community hasn't really noticed these changes either, because I know that technically there's a couple nerfs in here and people are going to get their pitchforks, but we've already been playing with this stuff for like a week now, so I don't know. You wouldn't. Hopefully, people aren't going to get too upset about these changes.
Yeah, I mean, it would be kind of weird if people got upset now. They'd be like, oh, I hate this, but you've loved it for a week. So, yeah, that would look kind of weird. It does bring up a nice conspiracy theory of they didn't accidentally not put this in. They did it on purpose just so they wouldn't piss off the community. Maybe that's true, but there aren't that many nerfs anyway. It's basically just the HMG, and that's basically it. Everything else basically got a buff. The railgun, I guess, is kind of a nerf, too. The HMG angle doesn't make any sense to me because I've noticed that that's a little slower, and I don't know why they would nerf that. It was pretty good the way it was, but it's not a huge deal. But I just find it funny that they buffed the Guard Dog Rover. One of the only things in the game I love it. I hope they never nerf it, but I would totally understand if they did. And then they keep buffing it. So that's more just funny to me. But I also just find it weird that they missed all this stuff in the patch notes. Like, this is like 7 or 8 things. That's just kind of an odd. That's kind of odd that they struggle that much to get their patch notes in order with the amount of time it takes to do them. So that's kind of concerning.
I couldn't test for a lot of this stuff like this past week where I've been testing literally everything. I wouldn't think to test the Guard Dog Rover setting things on fire faster because, you know, it wasn't in the patch notes. So I haven't even really used the Guard Dog Rover that much. So if I knew that the Guard Dog Rover was so much better, I might have mentioned that in prior videos. Like, hey guys, go check this out. So I'll go test it.
Yeah, the Hellpod impact. The Hellpod impact would have been a big thing to test too, because that's 12 times the damage. Unless that's a typo. I mean, that's a massive increase in damage. And the fact that it doesn't affect the fire Hellpods makes no sense. I'm assuming they're saying that they like meant to do that but just ran out of time or didn't do it for some reason. Because the fire Hellpods desperately needs a buff because it's totally useless and no one ever uses it. So this is interesting. It's just kind of odd that they missed out on this many things. But it's nice that they're putting it in now, I guess. I just don't know why why they're so late on this, but oh well, yes, is what it is. So that was going to finish off the video, but a new tweet just got released during the editing process for today's video, and I gotta bring this up. It says, breaking. Today, after intense research, construction of the Democracy Space Station is ready to begin. The DSS will be a powerful strategic tool for reshaping the galactic map, democratically directed by the Helldivers themselves. To achieve this, an orbital construction site must be secured. 2 planets have large enough magnetospheres for safe construction. That would be Gaiavar and Klasa. Probably butchered both of those names, so I'm sorry. Both are under automaton control. The final choice of which to liberate is left to the Helldivers. During construction, the DSS will be extremely vulnerable to attack, so long-term defensibility is paramount. The DSS could change the course of the war. Its ultimate success or failure lies in the hands of our greatest heroes, the Helldivers. This tweet came with the video that you are now seeing in the background as well. Okay, so this is very interesting. I kind of like the concept of this major order, first of all, because it leaves a decision up to the community, which is always cool. However, what's even more interesting is what this could mean for the future of this game. It's still quite vague what this station will be. Will it actually change the scope of the game, or will it be just a new plot device for the overarching story of Helldivers 2? I'm not sure what Arrowhead has in store with this, but this is definitely very interesting. So I'd love to see your comments about that in the comments section down below, as well as any other comments on the rest of today's top stories. And if you liked today's video, please hit the like button for us. It's always a big help, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't before, and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss a video. And we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.